Hey, you guys, and welcome to Talk to Me. So, today was my last day of employment, and I'll get back to how um, all of that really matters in just a second. The thing is, every morning I get up and I pray and I ask God to come in and basically make my thoughts your thoughts. How would you be living this day out if I was you? And this morning he told me to go and buy a lottery ticket today. I was like, okay, I've got some things. Is this like an inkling of what's to come? Sure, I'll do that. So I made sure to take cash with me to work. But then I came across this post, and the guy was like, what would you do if you had $90 million suddenly tomorrow? And he said that most people would resist that, but I'm beyond the point. I said immediately I would ask God. So I did. I said, God, what would I do if I woke up tomorrow and I had $90 million? And he said, you would be like Lot. Like I would be like Lot in the Bible. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, Lot must have done great things. Let me go look this up. And when I read the story, I was like, I don't think I would be like Lot. You see, the thing is, when we think about his story, we think about his wife turning into a pillar of salt, but really Sodom and Gomorrah and how God destroyed it. But people don't really pay attention to Lot's part of this whole thing. You see, he was the nephew of Abram, and he made a lot of money and did a lot of great things, and so they had to split up territory, and he got the first pick of the litter. Where did he want to go? And he initially said, I want to go someplace familiar over there by the river. It looks green. I'm used to that. Let me go over there. And when he arrived, it was Sodom and Gomorrah. It was this very debaucherous place. Now, the thing is, he was able to kind of get in, but not really like have it stick to him. We've all done that. We've all been in environments that are just completely toxic, and we've just made our way through it because this is how we make a living. This is, what's keeping the house, the roof over my head, and so forth. And eventually, what happens is these angels appear and they say, hey, listen, we're going to stay in the city center. Lot's like, no, I've got to give you protection. Come inside. So they agree and they go inside. This is, a show of God's willing nature with you. He's here to guide you if this is what are really seeking. And so the angels finally come in, but the people from the outside come knocking and saying, hey, listen, let us get to what you've got. We want to defile them. And he's trying to fight them off and all this other stuff. Eventually they get into the house and the angels kind of like shoo and make them blind. And this goes to show that Lot didn't need to protect God, but number one, he wasn't seeing God's true nature, that he's here to do the protecting for you. He can do all, you don't have to aid him in this. He's actually here for you. And so the angels tell them that, hey, listen, we've got to get out of here. God's going to destroy all the cities in the valley. Things are just terrible. Let's go. And so Lot, and it's dark, and Lot says, let me go get some other people. So he tries to go get the men that his daughters are betrothed to, but they think it's a joke, because they're like, that's nuts. And the angels say, we've got to go now. It's before the dawn, and you can pretty much only take what's here. Now, we all go through that life process of realizing that this is a very narrow way and really nobody can go. So, all Abram, not Abram, but Lot was able to take with him was his flesh to go. Now, they said, hey, listen, the angels, the representatives of the Lord, go to the mountains, and that's it. But Lot was like, hey, listen, whoa, it's a lot to do all that. Can I stick to some place closer and familiar and just, kind of set up over there in the plains? Now, the angels had already said that God was going to destroy the plains, but they said, okay, listen, we'll give you the favor over there too, but just go because we can't do anything else until you actually get there. Again, this is another pivotal point of God's nature. We must end something in order to begin something else. So he had to go. And when the sun came up, they were in Zohar, which is the area that he had chosen. Now, here's the thing, God starts to destroy all the area around in the plain. So now they're surrounded by destruction. And the wife, she looks back and ends up turning into a pillar of salt. Now, the thing is about the women, they were nurturers, they were intuitive, they were knowledgeable, those types of things. And Lot should have had her close to him, but he didn't. He had let her fall behind on the journey. And so this is significant because Lot ended up creating a lot of space and distance between what God uses in order to guide us, which is our intuition and the knowledge, the ability to remember, and versus what we as just human beings out here ourselves use, which is instinct and desire. The reason why this is important is because after a while of being surrounded by all this destruction, they basically, Lot and his two daughters, now have to leave. They finally end up at the mountain, which is where God wanted them to be to begin with. But they didn't just go there. He went there with his own plan. We all do that, you guys. We all say that we're doing the God thing, but just tweak it just a little bit to where we can keep some type of control. And they ended up in a cave. And of course, you've got these fleshly beings in there thinking with nothing more than instinct and desire. They decide to get their father drunk, which is, allowing other spirits to come in to the point to where they have no memory. And pretty much your entire life is you living out your memory, what you remember. That's a different story for another day. And so when he's in this inebriated state, separated from his own consciousness, they end up creating all of this disorder that lasts pretty much until Ruth, a Moabite, ends up with, Boaz, and starts this family line that we're all kind of dealing with today, know of today. So the reason why God was telling me that if you got $90 million tomorrow, you kind of be like Lot, is because Lot had angels come and get him from situations that were going to devour him. And instead of just doing what God told them to do, because there was no trust there, you kind of wanted to stick to the familiar. So God had to give you grace while you stayed in another softened space, hoping that you could learn enough to where you would end up at the mountain, but this time trust God enough to just show up, like He said, and not with your own plans. And I had been to a point to where I've gone through all of the different layers. I have completely been like, no, God, I don't really want to do that, try to negotiate the whole 9 yards. And I just can look back on so many areas of my life where God just simply gave me really good grace. Gotta take a deep breath, you guys. But yeah, if I've gotten blessed before, both financially, mentally, stability, the whole 9 yards, but it's all been applied to my plan. And so I sit here today and things are different. This is all God's plan. Like I said, the logical me would never be at the brink of, I don't even know how I'm supposed to deal with this rent that's due tomorrow that's hyper expensive. Plus, the fact that I don't have a job, and it's like I've been like the widow who gave everything, in the offering. I am sitting at God's plan and waiting on His next move, which is provision. And I'm finally not, I'm in alignment enough to know to say that provision of some sort. I'm not quite sure. Again, I don't come with my own plan at this point in time. Every day, I just say, God, I would like to be able to see the highest available option that you have for me to live. I'd like to live that. Let me live to the highest possibility that, I'm prepared to live to, and then some. Obviously, keep showing me things that are, excuse me, going to get me to grow. So, dogs over there burping. I guess it's like wearing, well, me too, probably because I've been talking for like 10 minutes straight as well. But anywho, yeah. So I asked the question again, God, what would I do if I woke up tomorrow with $90 million? dollars? And you know what He said? He said, you'd ask me what to do. So the mere fact that, He answered that like it's truth, I'm gonna hold on to that. Who knows? Who knows what the tomorrow holds? But I like I said, I sat on the edge of the rescue this time with the angels, basically God saying, "Meet me at the mountain," which is you've left from this place and you haven't looked back, so meet me at the mountain. Very interesting, you guys. Have a blessed night.